The political economic state of a nation is critical as it determines how far it grows and how stable it becomes. And here today, one who has been very passionate about the political economy of Nigeria, Mr. Opeyemi Agbaje, launched two remarkable books which will define the landscape: Uncomplex Strategy and Democracy Without Democrats. As part of the event, he hosted a panel session discussing business strategy in Nigeria, which brought key stakeholders in the Nigerian business environment.
Let me start with banking generally in Nigeria. And I think banking has undergone tremendous changes in the last decade, especially starting from the banking industry consolidation in 2004, leading to the evolution of what are called 20 strong banks. Before then, domestic banks couldn't even muster the strength, to finance anything close to a mega transaction. But today we find Nigerian banks, facing transactions, in the billions, and that's a significant development.
I think what you see as companies grow is you have the founders, the team building the companies, and at some point, they need to transition into proper institutional structures. And as companies go through different phases, they need to transition. And those firms and groups that are willing to bring in quality management, quality people, putting governance in place, are able then to transition to get into much larger entities. And I think for many firms, it's actually hard to do. To go from entrepreneurs, owners, relinquishing control to a team, and then the willingness to put in control, which effectively put in governance, which effectively implies paying taxes, which eventually implies reporting more of your performance, which is hard to do in this environment. I think looking at the agriculture sector more specifically, I think there are two parts of it that are critical. One is your supply chain, because you're getting materials effectively from the farmers. And if you don't have a robust supply chain to get that material, you can't get competitive price product to compete. The second part is actually on the distribution side, making sure the product actually gets to your customers, which is actually tougher than it seems. If you look at many of the large distributors in Nigeria, they will only carry imported products. They will not carry local products. So if you're a local firm building capacity, you cannot plug into existing networks. You need to build your own distribution chains, which is extremely tough. So for those that are able to now do that, build that capacity, and now get to the point where customers are demanding your products, so that the larger established logistics companies then are willing to pull your products. It takes time to build and is a critical success factor. So those two pieces, supply chain and distribution, are key in this space.
I don't think that as a business or as a government today, you can talk about being effective without using IT effectively. So whichever level you want to look at it on, whether personal, professional, institutional, government, the picture 10 years ago to the picture today has been incredible. Now, of course, along with that comes with some undesirable effects, which include, or which is most notably, the cybersecurity and the information security breaches. So then, it's been a double-edged sword, but I would say from my own viewpoint, the benefits of adopting information technology in Nigeria have far outstripped the challenges. So today, we probably have one of the most efficient banking systems, the telecoms organization.
It's very clear that this is probably the only way we can pay for provision of medical care in Nigeria. The government is not going to pay for it. I don't think so. And so we have to evolve these, means of pulling funds together, not just to pay for the service, but also perhaps to transform the providers, the hospitals, because that's really the ultimate, in service delivery.
We're talking of governance. We're talking of democracy. Democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people. And we want things to work. It's important that we understand how it all starts and really the experience. I'm writing it, and I can tell you why it works and why it doesn't work. There's no way you see the end product. When I say the end product, you see the candidates when they emerge. But you don't see the process, because democracy is not at the point of voting. Democracy is rooted in the whole process from the beginning, from when you form the political party. So who are those that form the political party? What are their goals? What are their values? Why have they formed the party? Is it for good governance? Or is it to corner a share of the cake? And these are issues that come up. Now, so once that is wrong, then of course, there's no way you're going to relate that to good governance. But as it works, some people start with the wrong motives, and some others take over from them. But somebody has to govern for as long as you're running a civilian dispensation. Is there hope? I say yes. So it's not all bad. If anything, what Jonathan did a few days ago gives us hope. I don't know how many of you know how close Nigeria was to going up, boom. All Jonathan needed to do was to sit down and do nothing. And you know, like in every government, you have the hawks ready to move. And so he didn't even wait for the results to be complete, because if he had waited, it may have been too late. And decided that I'm going to leave a legacy that is different from what they want to push me into. And so it took a man of character to say, what am I going to be remembered for? If nothing else, let me be remembered that I made this work. And so for me, there's hope. And we'll just continue to pray that we'll be able to do a lot more of that in different ways, in ways that after a while, we can say that our bottom line is not about whether Nigeria will exist or not. Because presently, still, will it exist? Will it not exist?
Mr. Opeyemi Agbaje speaks further on why he wrote these two books and the value it will bring to Nigeria.
Well, the two books speak to my two great passions, business strategy and then democracy and governance. The strategy book is an attempt to make strategy simple, easy, so that anybody, if you see the title of the book, managers, students, entrepreneurs, can understand strategy easier, make it uncomplex, like this title suggests, and so that we can have the average person, instead of spending millions of naira looking for a consultant, buy a book for 5,000 naira, read it, and understand some insights that can help him manage his business better. So uncomplex strategy is targeted at managers, students of business, and entrepreneurs. Now, the other book, Democracy and Governance, Democracy Without Democrats, is a critique of the quality of Nigeria's democracy, especially between 2007 and 2011. It covers that period, 1999 to 2011. And it's a critique, like I said, of democracy and governance in Nigeria. It reviews major events over the period of 1999 to 2007, covering the regimes of President Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, and the short period of Jonathan until the 2011 elections. So it's a critique, and the title suggests that the view I took in the book is that we didn't get the best out of democracy because our democracy was not being run in a democratic fashion. And so that's the summary of the book. I'm happy at recent developments, for instance, the actions that President Jonathan took, which may qualify as moving us towards being a democracy with Democrats.
If you bring about internal democracy, then you'll have less of this movement up and down. What you find in a lot of cases is that internal democracy is not practiced. And so when people feel cheated, then they ask themselves, why are they there? And they look for other opportunities elsewhere. So it's important that we bring about that. You know, when you lose elections in a free and fair manner, then you accept it. But if I feel I am a better candidate and that I'm likely to win, say, primaries, and some godfather decides that I cannot be the candidate, then what am I looking for there? Then I will go. But if I run it and I lose, then I will accept my position. And so it's important that we bring about internal democracy, even in the political party. And basically, that's what I was saying there.